and welcome everyone to USA Global TV, home of Talking Heads. And a big shout out to our friends listening on Business Talk Radio out of New York. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is a brand new show, The Corner Bookstore. And my co-host, who is actually our guest today, is the incredible, I'm going to call her globetrotter. She's been all over the world. She has connections that are far and wide. In fact, I was just talking to her and someone else before this about the ripple effect of all the people that she's introduced me to, who now introduced other people. It just goes on and on. And in addition to all of this, she is an international award-winning author. She is a teacher. She's an actress. She is creative at the highest level. And I'm so thrilled that she's here today. Before she comes out, I do want to run her promo so that we can take a look at who she is, Diann Floyd Boehm, and then we'll bring her out. Take a look.
Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Story Garden. Your host, Diann Boehm. I'm so happy to have you here today.
Diann Floyd Boehm tells wonderful stories that warm the heart, spark the imagination, and unite people and families across generations. For children, Diann's Harry the Camel connects with all of us who've ever wondered how different our lives might have been if only we'd been born something better, like a wonderful horse instead of an ordinary camel. In the end, we all learn along with Harry that there's nothing better than just being yourself. Diann's Little Girl in the Moon looks down on earthbound children and wonders if they know she's just like them. A story of love, home, and the bond between mother and daughter, its powerful theme that we're each of us different yet all of us the same plants a seed in children that promises to blossom within a loving and trusting grown-up. Diann's new biography, Rise, recounts the experiences of her grandmother, Ruby, to reveal the hidden strength of the human spirit. Ruby's story inspires all of us to become the best versions of ourselves. You'll find all of Diann's delightful books and much more at DiannFloydBoehm.com. Visit DiannFloydBoehm.com. That's DiannFloydBoehm.com.
Help me welcome to the Corner Bookstore, Diann Floyd Boehm. Hi. It's so good to see you. You're so busy. You just keep producing more and more beautiful things in this world. It's amazing.
You're so kind, and your introduction is very humbling. Thank you.
Well, it's all true. It's easy. It's easy because it's all true. I said to you and I said to Roland on our last program that I just can't believe across the world all the connections that are being made. And as a result of a connection you made for me to someone, that person's now connected to somebody on Mallorca. It's amazing, Diann. And you're writing and publishing at the same time.
This is true, but thank goodness there are, I do hybrid publishing, and it has just opened the world for me. So luckily there's people that put my words all into the book, and I can just keep writing and doing what I love. So.
Well, you're so good at it. And for people who might be new to our platform, USA Global TV and Business Talk Radio, Diann is also the co-host of Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure, which is on Fridays. And she brings guests, her dear friends from all over the world who have incredible gifts to give. And I just can't thank you enough for doing that show and also being the co-host of this show.
Oh, well, I'm excited about this show, and I absolutely love doing the Fashion, Fitness, Travel, and Leisure. And it's a two-way street. You bring some incredible people too. I just play a tiny part, but thank you.
Well, thank you very much. So, Diann, as you know, this show is all about authors and getting them to share their works with people so that people can, even as adults, you made me realize when we were on A Better You, how important reading is for adults, reading children's books, reading in general. So I want to spotlight you and just, if you would share with us what it is that enticed you to start writing and what it is that keeps you inspired today to keep going.
I'll be happy to. Thank you. So I have always been a storyteller. You can ask. Well, my mom just passed. I was starting to say you could just call my mom and ask her, but it might be a little hard to call heaven at the moment. But anyway, my mom always said when I was born, I came out singing. I hit a high C, and from there, I never stopped talking, from the babbling all the way to speaking. And as a matter of fact, I have 5 brothers. 3 older, 2 younger. And one of my brothers, Danny, always called me Motor Mouth because I was like, and they were like, I want to say something. So I finally learned to slow down so they could talk. But you know, I always loved children's books. My mama was very good about reading to us, especially the older kids. The way she would change the voices just really inspired me, and I made sure she knew it. Because when she started helping me with another book, and I reminded her of what a good reader she was to us kids. And that inspired me when I became a mom to make sure, as I read to my kids, I did the same thing. Of course, by that time, I was already doing some community theater and things like that. So it just came naturally. The children's stories to me are for adults too, because the messages, especially if it's a story that has a lot of layers to it, which I'll talk about one of mine later, how a kid internalizes it would be different how a parent internalizes it, or any adult, even if you're not a parent, because the messages and the wisdom that you've acquired as you've gone through your journey in life brings a new openings and understandings to what's going on, and maybe even helps to resolve some issues that you didn't realize you were still holding on to as a kiddo, because some kids, can be kind of bullying to you, and you were like, oh, I thought I was over that, but oh my gosh, and this book really helped them. So I really encourage everyone to read children's books. What keeps me going today is that I always feel like when people go, oh my gosh, I had just a terrible, awful, horrible, no good, very bad day, which is actually a book called Alexander. Terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. One of my son's favorites when he was little. But I always say, as horrible as the day could be, the fact that you were able to open your eyes, you were already blessed that day. And if we could all remember that, then maybe we could just soften up a little bit and figure out how to make the day a little bit better, because there's a lot of people that would trade places with you. So the fact that I was able to open my eyes meant that there was something I'm supposed to give to the world. Maybe it's just picking a flower from my garden and giving it to someone. Maybe it's just sharing a smile, or maybe I haven't done anything, but somebody smiled and gave back to me that made them feel good. And so I just want to take each day and enjoy the moment. And within that, figure out and listen to the sounds that come to me, the inspirations that come from looking at the clouds, or maybe I'm sewing and some ideas pop in my mind that inspires me to write a story. And that's what keeps me going.
Thank you so much for all of that energy, that positivity, and that inspiration. So your first book, when did you write it and what's it about?
Well, actually, I wrote a lot of stories that are not published yet. But my first book that was published, I actually wrote it living in Dubai. And I was I've always loved the moon ever since I was a little kid. And I was in some schools helping with some things and taking in things and watching and observing, and then thinking about that night about classrooms that I'd been in back in America and the Philippines and other places. And I thought, my goodness, there's so many similarities. And I just wish the world would understand how much we are alike. Because if we could understand how much we are alike and different, then just maybe we could figure out how to be kinder to one another. And so that's when, in the middle of the night, I came up with the series, The Little Girl in the Moon. And this is the first one. And I never painted in my life, but this is my very first picture that I ever drew. But I had started taking silk painting, and that opened up a new world for me. And The Little Girl in the Moon, it is all about how much we are alike than different. And I even took the teaching because I was an educator. And a curriculum director. I decided instead of anyone can use their imagination and picture someone swinging or singing or whatever. But I decided to introduce The Little Girl in the Moon by the phases of the moon. So I brought in science into my artwork. And so that was really fun. So that was The Little Girl in the Moon. That was the very first one. And it started the host series, The Little Girl in the Moon, that's morphed into the Moonling Adventures. And I even started writing a Moonling language. So it's really quite fun.
I love it, Diann. Of course, I have all of your books. They're over here on the bookshelf, but when the green screen, you can't really hold them up. So would you like to read anything from that book?
You know, I always love to read actually from The Little Girl in the Moon and The Big Idea, because this one is one of these books that is a layering book. So it's all about the kind wishes. The little girl in the moon is so worried. So when you step back, the moonlings love Earth as much as the earthlings love the moon. So moonlings actually live in Tycho Town, which is another book. And people on Earth really don't know much about the moonlings or even know they existed, but because it's all my imagination. But anyway, in this particular book, it also has a poem that I hope to turn to a song one day. But I love to read the poem, especially as we move into the holidays, because I want you to think about the kindness and love and kind wishes in the world. So here we go. Moonbeams. Stars shimmer in the blue moonlight, wishes swirling in space. Glowing moonbeams brighten the night, guiding the wishes to the stars. Moonbeams and stars shining bright, may wishes come true tonight. Wishes rise from cities and farms throughout the whole wide world. Hopeful wishes for joy and peace, healing wishes of love. Moonbeams and stars shining bright, may wishes come true tonight. Stars shimmer in the blue moonlight as wishes come true tonight. And of course, they're kind wishes.
I love when you read. I forgot to mention at the beginning what an amazing storyteller you are. It's like you transport us right there.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's what I really want. You know, when I was teaching school, it didn't matter what grade I taught. I would always bring the kiddos together in a circle. And if it was 8th grade in computers, we just talked about how their day was going so far, and then just, became a family. And so I got them to really think about, they didn't realize that I was teaching them how to be a storyteller. And then with the young children, I would really try so hard not to just be the person telling the story, but okay, you give part of the story and let them just get totally engrossed into making the story with me. So thank you for the compliment.
Thank you for the inspiration. I love it. So Diann, what came next?
Next, of course, we had, I'm looking at the books, that's why I'm looking down. I had The Little Girl in the Moon, and then The Big Idea that you just saw. And then my youngest daughter helped me put together Tycho Town. So you can actually explore a tiny bit of Tycho Town. And it's where we introduce the Little Girl in the Moon's best friend, her doggie. And then you start learning some of the Moonling language. So that was fun. And from there, we moved into introducing the little boy in the moon, and we turned it into the Moonling Adventures. And this one happens to be in the Serengeti. The other Moonling Adventure is going to be coming out this summer. And my youngest daughter, again, did all the artwork. And she just does an amazing job. It's all 3D, so we can animate it one day and have a cartoon series is, of course, one of our hopes, because she's also a writer, songwriter.
Diann, I love how you're planning for the future. I love it. You put it out there in the world, and it's going to happen for sure.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. So that's the Moonling, and then I have Harry the camel, and Harry, he lives in Dubai, and a good friend of mine, Yoshita Amin, she helped me. We did the illustrations together. She's from Sri Lanka, but lives in Dubai like I did. And she's just a beautiful, beautiful spirit. And Harry doesn't like himself. He wishes he was a horse. Oh my goodness. But something exciting happens. That was kind of scary for him, but he stepped into that moment and he discovered there was nothing better than being who you are. And that's a message I want to get across, not just to children, but to people too. My oldest daughter, Rachel, has a wonderful expression about be who you're meant to be, not be who others tell you should be. And that's what I want kiddos to discover as well. And I wish I would have had that wisdom when I was younger. I was like, Rachel, you're beyond your years. It's incredible.
And by the way, your daughter, Rachel, is truly amazing. We've had her on other shows, and she's so talented. Everybody in your family is.
Thank you. Rachel is talented. All my kiddos can sing beautifully. They just have gorgeous singing voices. And, but yeah, Rachel's an actress, a singer, a writer. I don't know where she gets it. Do you?
I don't know either. So tell us about the latest work that was Amazon #1 new release, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More.
I'll be happy to. So here's Rise, and can you believe it? How exciting that was to wake up one day and your publisher. I thought it was in the middle of a movie or something when they said, I read this email saying, you just made the hot list. And I'm like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. But I did, and that was exciting. And so this right here is my grandma Ruby. She was 16 years old when this picture was taken. And I took a snippet of her life and did a historical fiction, Rise, A Girl's Struggle for More. And the purpose of this book is, again, to inspire people to go after their dreams, to be who they are meant to be. And Grandma was born in 1904. And she, in those days, you were supposed to just, get married and have children. And that's wonderful. I mean, I'm married, I have children, and I love it completely. But Grandma also wanted to be a businesswoman. And again, today, we don't question that. It just happens. But it was this generation and generations before of women that really pushed the boundaries to make it possible. And so she was inspired by a lot of people. But her dad also inspired her because she loved how he was such a businessman and was doing so much. And she wanted to be able to do that as well. So, but her journey to doing it was so amazing. And I did not learn a lot of it until about maybe 10 years ago. And my mama told me more, or should I say, the rest of the story of the different little tidbits that Grandma would do. And I went, this has to be written. I've never written a young adult historical fiction. Oh my gosh, that's a story in itself. But I'm already fine. I'm getting great messages back. People are not wanting to put the story down, which made me feel good. And Grandma's inspiring people. So I'm so excited. And I hope that she's able to look through the veil and discover that the ripple effects that she's giving through this book is inspiring people today.
It's an excellent book. And as you mentioned, we take things for granted today, even though we still have struggles, I feel, as women. But back then, a completely different set of circumstances, and the strength that she exudes and the way she lived her life is really a lesson for all of us today.
Thank you. And of course, I thank you for reading it early and letting me know if I needed to make changes or anything. But I appreciated you giving me a review as well. And you're in the book.
Yay!
So thank you.
So, Diann, my pleasure. Thank you. A question I have for you is that you were writing in a certain genre, and then you went to a different genre, which required a lot of work and research. And I know this project is very near and dear to you. You could have said, you know what, I'm not going to do this work. I'm going to let somebody else do the research. They can just give it to me. I'll figure a way to write it in, or I'm not going to do this project now. So why was it at this time now that you decided to really put your heart and soul? I know it took you years to put this together, right?
Yes, it did. And that's a great question. It's a real mindset to change from writing for young children and making sure you're in their world and they can grasp it, to writing for young adults, but also to get the history right. And you made a really valid point, Dr. Jacalyn, that I actually had the opportunity to turn it over to a ghostwriter who loves to write historical fiction. They understood where I was going and so forth. But I just could not consider putting my name on something that I truly did not write. And so I went, no, I'm going to learn how to do this, because trust me, there were some tears like, oh my gosh, what have I done? But, my mama, she really inspired me to just, take a deep breath. No one says you have to finish shit right now. You just go nice and slow. And when it's finished, you'll be so proud, because it really will be your work. And so I really thank my mom for that.
There's something to be said about that, isn't it? About doing it yourself, about what you put your name on, what you stand up for, and making sure that it's really authentic. And that's what you've done.
Thank you. Yes. And I wish I could find my English teacher and show her how many pages I wrote.
I'm sure you can. You can track anybody down today, it seems like.
She's like, oh my gosh, you even got the quotations right.
So, Diann, I want to talk a little bit about the launch that you had, about the marketing behind it. So, our show is for authors, whether they're first-time authors, somebody who wants to be an author, or somebody who's published a whole series. But to do what you've done, like, for example, I also wrote a book and published it, but I didn't have any marketing campaign. I didn't really think about it. I was like, oh, let's just get it out there as soon as possible. What is the value in actually having a strategy and a marketing plan before you launch the book?
Oh my goodness gracious. That was something I started studying before the book was even published. You have to have a plan, at least in my humble opinion, because just because you publish a book doesn't mean anyone's going to buy it. And so you need to know where you're going to go, how you're going to do it, and how you get the message out, quickly, effectively, and people eyes pop and say, I have to have that book. So, so I had to really study a lot, and there was a lot of things I read, and books I went to, and magazines I read, and also I must say that OC Publishing, that published some of my very first books, that Ann O'Connell was very good about teaching me some things and what to do and prepare early. So that was extremely helpful, but I'm still learning. This social media is a real beast, and but I'm packaging it. I'm not gonna. I'm. Like I said, I got to open my eyes today. So if it means I'm going to learn something new, I'm going to learn something new in social media, most likely.
I am laughing back here because I spend so much time on social media. Sometimes it feels daunting. I mean, we're on social media right now, but just to get the posts out from a company I had hired, you have to post the same post 3 times before the algorithm will actually have it go to most of your audience. So if you think about it, I know you have a page as well as your own personal feed. And I think I have 5 or 6 pages to go to every single one of them and post it 3 times a day plus link. It's a lot. One could hire someone to do all of it, but I feel like because it's my name, I don't know. I just feel like I have to hold on to it.
I hear you 100%. And for our listeners, if you ever feel this way, I just want you to know I didn't just wake up one morning and say, "Oh, I can't share with the world what I'm doing today." This was a real pendulum change for me, because I grew up in the age that you didn't brag about yourself, that it was considered impolite, and today everything's about yourself on this social media. And I mean, I could have embraced social media in the early 90s. A friend of mine was already saying, you need to, do a blog. And I'm like, what's a blog? And I'm like, nobody wants to read about me, or why would I put my diary out there? And the reason to go ahead and put so much emphasis on this is that if you write stories and you're just really wanting to get started, just do it. And trust me, make that switch like I did, because the world is ready to embrace what you have to give. And that was amazing for me to learn. And I want you, the listener, to know that we're ready to embrace what you want to share with us. Does that make sense, Dr. Jacalyn?
Yes, it does. There you are again, motivating people. Thank you, Diann. I appreciate that, because, and in the course of interviewing people, I hear on a regular basis, I've got a book in here somewhere, or it's on the shelf, or it's in here, I started on the laptop, and then they don't go back to it because it seems so daunting. And so one thing that I would love to have you weigh in on, I feel this is the same way with social media. It's getting the time on your calendar where it's just like anything else that you do. From this time to this time, you're going to work on the book. This time to this time, you're going to do social media. Not that they're connected, but so what are your thoughts about actually making it part of your daily or weekly routine?
Sure. So making it part of your daily routine can be very difficult, because you think, I have to do this, 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 and you have all these things that you absolutely have to do that you're responsible for. So let's take baby steps. Just find a place in your house and make it where you're going to spend 15 minutes. Just give yourself 15 minutes. You deserve 15 minutes. Or maybe you need to start with 5. But give yourself that moment. And in that space, that becomes your holy space for you to start taking in all these people are spirits, trust me, your inspiration, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's angels that will give you the words that you need to do. And you'll discover that, okay, you gave 5 minutes and now you got to go do something else, and your brain takes you there. And then all of a sudden there's 10 minutes and you totally get engrossed. And then you're 15, and it will come. And then you can't wait to get to that holy space that you set aside to be inspired to continue to write your stories. And then it just takes over. So I went from having one little space to now having a whole room that you can see behind me. I did not start with this room behind me. It grew as I grew. And that's what I want everyone to know. You can do it. Just believe in yourself. And if you need someone to hold your hand, you can send me an email at diannfloydboehm.com, and I will hold your hand and inspire you, because I just believe in sharing and helping others.
And you do it so well, and you do it from your heart, and I really appreciate it. So anybody who's out there, whether you're watching or listening to us live or maybe after the fact, Diann knows a ton of people. She's very well connected. Please reach out if you're serious. And she's so busy, right, Diann? I just want people to really appreciate all the value that you have to bring.
Oh, thank you. Before we end up closing the show, may I share 2 more things with you?
Sure, yes.
One, I don't even think, well, actually, these maybe you may already know, but tonight is the book launch for the holiday anthology. And I was with 10 other authors with Texas Sister Press, and we'll be having talks about this book for a while. But my story is King's First Christmas. And we beautiful story, and it's based on a little bit of truth that took place in one of my brother's lives. But there's some really, really fun stories in the holiday anthology. And I'm going to be having a new book out, Dr. Jacalyn, and it comes out November 24th, and it's called A Song of Peace, and it's all about a little boy wishing there was peace on earth.
Diann, you always amaze me. I did not know about the holiday book at all, so that's incredible. Congratulations. Is it tonight?
Yes, tonight. Yeah, tonight, 6:00 Central Time. So,
Where?
on Facebook, you can reach it if you go to my Facebook page or Texas Sister Press. It'll be there, and all the information. So
fantastic.
Yay,
Fantastic.
So
Yay. Congratulations.
Yeah. And actually, I'm so excited about this story, King's First Christmas. I'm just like, I'm so proud of myself.
You should be.
It's just a wonderful story. And when I was asked to join and be part of this with 10 other authors, I was very, very humbled because some amazing people. And number two, I thought, oh my gosh, here I am again writing for adults, because it's an adult holiday book, by the way. And I mean, some fun things. There's some things going on where Santa gets attacked. I mean, it's just some fun things, and some Comic-Con with Santa Claus. There's some really great stories. But anyway, I just thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I just had to really pray about it. And all of a sudden it came to me, and King was actually one of our dogs. So yeah, I'm really proud of this story, and I'll probably eventually turn it into a children's book with Texas Sisters Press. So,
well, maybe next week you can read from it after it's been launched tonight.
Yeah, maybe I'll make sure I get permission. That would be awesome. And
Fantastic.
Then the other story I'm just deeply proud of. So, A Song of Peace, because it's something that I'm actually, Dr. Jacalyn, going to be starting today, actually asking people to, wherever they are in the world, to just and send me a video. And Dr. Jacalyn, you did this. So
I did.
So peace, peace, peace. Or if you can't sing and you just want to say peace, 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 just peace, let's just get that word out into the universe, because this song and book, A Song of Peace, is something that we all can become part of. So
gorgeous voice, Diann. And add that to the list, everyone. So yes, no, I'm with you. I'm all about peace, inner peace, world peace. So this is a great initiative that you are undertaking. So I look forward to the finished product, and then also to having you back next week. And if you'd like to be a guest on our show, all you have to do is go to drjacalyn.com. You go across the top to more, and then book your session, and you'll find the Corner Bookstore is on the second page. People will contact me and they'll say, I can't find this show or that show. We have so many shows that we actually have 2 pages. So you have to go to see more to the second page. So.
And Dr. Jacalyn, look how far. I mean, my goodness, so many shows. And as I was sharing with you backstage, the lives and people you're touching and helping us get things out in the world. It was so difficult before we could have this technology that you have embraced. I do not have time to learn what all you're doing, but my gosh, it's amazing. And
thank you
for all the shows you're doing. And this brand new one, oh my gosh, you authors out there, get on your computer and let us
sign up. Yes.
We want to help you get your name out there and your book out there. And you storytellers who haven't written it down on words, this is your time. Go for it, right?
Yay, go for it. Go for it. Diann, I'm going to spotlight you. And if you can just share the best way for people to reach you and who should reach out to you.
Sure. Everybody can reach out to me who loves life and books and etc. So reach me at DiannFloydBoehm.com. Now, my name's spelled a little different, so it's DIANNFLOYD Floyd, B as in boy, OEHM as in Mary.com, DiannFloydBoehm.com. And I'll be right there.
Thanks, Diann. And I have to say, I don't remember what day it was, but somebody actually commented on the post that they had purchased your book. So I think I think that's outstanding. And I'm glad that I have a copy. My mom's reading it right now. Rise, a Girl's Struggle for More.
To hear what both of you have to say. Of course, I kind of know what you have.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, out there for you. So your mom does such beautiful work. And of course, she's produced two beautiful daughters. One I'm getting ready to know. And I know she has to be wonderful with her new Awakening series she'll have to tell people about. But also just getting to know you means that I know she's just beautiful. But each one of her paintings could become a story. So have her, at least have her, or at least record her talking about each painting, because she was inspired and there's a story inside those paintings.
Sounds like you should interview her, Diann.
I guess I'll just have to do that.
You know, I think that's a great idea, because if I try to, she'll say no.
Why do moms do that? Mom.
I don't know, but we'll talk more about it. I love it. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Well, you have
all right. Thanks. You too. If you could stay backstage just for a second, I want to share something with you.
Sure.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks. We'll see you again. Bye, Diann. And as Diann mentioned, my sister, Deborah Wilson, she has this fantastic online virtual retreat that is starting on November 17th. It's called The Awakened Journey. And I highly recommend that you go over to Facebook to Deborah Wilson, Debra Wilson, and you sign up for this. It's all about truth and knowledge and inner peace and being able to answer those questions, at least take the first step to do so, about why we are here. What is our soul purpose? And she helps you with your soul purpose blueprint. So please do, again, go over to Facebook and look for Deborah Wilson, and you can register right there for the Awakened Journey. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really appreciate it. We will be back later today with the Listening Mentor, and it's all about dating. We look forward to seeing you then. Take care. Bye.